And hello, everyone. Welcome to another power scanning session. It is March 1st. Time flies, 2025. And once again, today we are trying to find the most interesting swing trading setups for the week ahead. But before we get into it, let me ask you guys a question. Where are you calling in from? So I'm calling in from Montreal, our headquarters here in Canada. It is a snowy winter day once again here in Montreal. We had so much snow. Yeah, my whole backyard is like probably a meter or even more filled up with snow. Quite crazy. But where are you guys calling in from? Who do we have? Please put your location into the Q&A box of your Zoom window. Let me quickly see. So, John from sunny and warm Austin. Yeah, lucky you, John, in Texas. Perfect. David from Frankfurt. Hey, David, what's going on there? Aubrey from brisk blue skied sunny Cyprus. Yes, yes. Very lucky once again, you guys. From a sunny location, Utah, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that possible? Oh, later today, he said. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a nice and warm day in Utah. Aubrey said, what is snow? Yeah, yeah, rub it in there. Edda from Hamburg. Hey, Edda, wie geht's? Thomas from Traunstein, Bavaria, Germany. Great. Hey, Thomas. Good to have you. Dennis from Montreal. Oh, nice. So you know what uh, what we've went through. Actually, I fell twice, I think, yesterday on the sidewalk because it was all iced up. We had a few days of warmer temperature, so snow was melting a bit, and it got really cold fast, and everything was like frozen ice. So yeah, good times in Montreal. Tom from Roseville, California. Hey Tom, what's going on? Marcus from Koblenz, Germany. Hi Marcus, how are you? Chris from Northern California. Thomas, 6 degrees. Okay, not too bad. Steve from Southern California. Hey Steve, how are you? Elton from also Southern California, from Chino Hills. Great. David from Germany, 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Nice. And Nestor from New York City. Perfect. Wow. What an international crowd once again here for our scanning session. Okay, so with this, let's get started. So, as mentioned, I am greeting you from Montreal, but I think I didn't mention my name yet. My name is Daniel Sinek here on the left-hand side. And about 10 years ago, we have created tradingindicators.com, your number one marketplace for all your trading needs. So we have gained a substantial amount of experience in building these trading indicators. We've done this throughout all our professional life. And over the years, we've built more than almost 1,000 trading indicators for clients all over the world. Most of them are rooted in what we call technical analysis, which is basically a mathematical analysis of your price chart. We believe that fundamentals are almost immediately priced in, and by analyzing your price chart from a technical point of view, you will also indirectly take into account fundamental information. We also believe that trading should be simple, and in fact, trading is simple, but you need to know what to look for. And secondly, you need to use the right tools. And one such tool we're going to be using today, which is our great Liquidity View dashboard. All right, before we get into it, two more things. Niklas will be in the room today, so he's going to look out for your questions. So if you have any questions, please don't hold back. Put them into the Q&A box. The more, the merrier. And we're going to go through these questions as we proceed through this webinar. And secondly, I need to remind you guys that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. Okay, so with this out of the way, a couple of housekeeping items. Item number one is please don't forget to join our Discord channel, which is completely renewed and redone and reorganized. We're super happy with it. We've got so much feedback about our Discord channel, which was very encouraging. So if you want to join for free, here's the link. And Niklas, please post this link into the chat box. It's tradingindicators.com/Discord. And just to give you an idea what to expect from the Discord channel, let me quickly go there. So here it's going to open up. You go to our tradingindicators.com channel. And yeah, the most action is happening in this part here, in this, I guess, channel, which is Talk Trading here, where we post interesting chart setups every single day. And not just us, also our users are posting chart setups. I know David from Frankfurt is very active. Bill, Nicholas, of course, our own Nicholas is posting setups all day long. So please don't forget about this channel. It's quite interesting. And what's also really cool about this Discord channel is that you will get these automated free trade alerts. So for example, if you're a day trader, you will receive every half an hour a new alert. You can see here right now there are a couple of interesting alerts for Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin? Well, that's really the only market which is currently open. Yeah, because all the other markets are closed. Cryptos, however, trade 24/7. So Bitcoin trading is still possible, and you're getting these Bitcoin alerts, as you can see here in our 5-minute alerts. But we also have longer term alerts here. For example, if you're more a swing trader, you get like daily alerts. So for example, here we had recently an alert for a short bounce setup in Apple, meaning that Apple is currently trading at a resistance level and may bounce to the short side. And if you were to open up the price chart, you could confirm this as well. So please check it out. This is our Discord channel. Okay, so that was one thing. The second thing I wanted to mention, if I can find my slides again, 1 second. There we go. Is what we're going to be doing today is we're going to scan for the best setups of today using our Liquidity View dashboard. It is easiest if you just follow along. And you can do so by signing up for a free trial. We offer a 1-week free trial for our dashboard. You get instant access, and you can sign up via tradingindicators.com/view. So simply go to that link, sign up for either a monthly or yearly option. We will give you a full week of a free trial, no commitment needed, and you can follow along in this dashboard. All right, so that's that. And the last thing before we get into our market analysis is if you have not downloaded yet our ebook called The Power of Three, please do so because it will detail in much more depth the setups that we're going through today, which is our bounce setup, our zone break setup, and our zone break retrace setup. And I'm telling you already, there are some really, really interesting ones available today using our dashboard. I did a bit of a sneak preview of what the scanner revealed today, and it's really interesting for some of those. So please stay tuned. And one last thing, and then we really get into the actual market analysis. If you have any feedback, please don't hold back. Put those into the Q&A box or send it to me by email. Your feedback drives the innovation of our Liquidity View dashboard, so please don't hold back. With this, let's get started with the market review. So I'm going to switch over to our Liquidity View dashboard. There it is. I'm going to drag it in here. And once open up, you can see, of course, our scanner here on the left-hand side and our charting here on the right-hand side. So that's the dashboard. I'm going to show you real quick a couple of new things which have happened since last week. So the first thing we did is we have finally integrated all these beta features, which we already made available on the beta side of our dashboard. These are now finally integrated into the production version. So what are these beta features? Well, for once, you can now see directly in our dashboard additional information about a particular symbol. So for example, if you want to know more about Agilent, this one here, you simply click on this little info box here and a little pop-up will be shown on directly in the dashboard, giving you a description of what this company is all about. That could be quite useful. So this is feature number one. Feature number two is we are having now, and let me just enable this real quick, we can now see directly in our dashboard in which what are upcoming dividend payments, for example. So you can now click enable these dividend columns here, and you can see now, okay, for Agilent, for example, the next dividend payment is coming up in April, and the X date, that means you have to own the stock before this date in order to receive the dividend, is April the 1st. And this is the dividend yield which was paid out over the last 12 month is 0.78 for the current stock price. And if you click on this info box here or hover over it, you can actually see, okay, what were the last 10 dividends paid out? What is the trend there? You can see here, okay, dividends have increased actually in the last for the last 10 payout periods over time. And this will give you a bit of an idea of what to expect for the next dividend payment. So this is now also available in our dashboard. So if you're more of a longer term investment, and dividends, of course, play an important role for longer term investments, now you have the option to see these directly in the dashboard. All right, so these are the new features which we have introduced and which are now readily available. But let's start with our market review. What's going on in the market? Wow, another interesting week has gone by. But you know what? From a technical point of view, maybe it was just business as usual. What do I mean by this? Well, let's open up the SPY. You'll see in a second. So it's going to open up now. I'm going to actually, let me just change the background color a little bit to something more easier to see. So here, make it black. So it's just going to be a bit clearer. All right. So here, what do we see here? Well, I don't know if it's just me, but it looks to me that this upwards trend, which we're seeing here, let me just make this a little bit smaller so I can actually draw a nice trend line here. So if I were to draw a parallel trend channel from, say, from here to there and then to the top here to some degree, I mean, this is not broken by any means. So in the SPY, we are very much still in an uptrend. The only thing that has changed from last week is that we are now trading in the lower half of this trend channel. Actually, move this a little bit higher. Yeah, we can see we almost arrived at the lower end here, on the lower boundary, but then we bounced off on Friday in a very bullish closing of the market. The market's really turned around in the last couple of hours. Okay, so this is what happened. And what's interesting for the SPY are a couple of things. First off, you can see here, we are once again in a level 4 pullback state as per our trend radar indicator. So these are very interesting moments in time where, which we call a healthy pullback. The overarching trend, this last green line here, is still bullish, while the medium-term trends, they are bearish. That's the pullback. And we can see a price pulled back. It pulled back towards the lower end of this trend channel. And on top of this, we bounced off near this support level down here. This would have been a great opportunity to actually enter into this long trade. Now markets recovered on Friday quite a bit, but you know what? From a technical point of view, it is still business as usual. This overarching long trend is not broken by any stretch. This was just another pullback, another bounce off this resistance level here, which we saw, which was a bit deeper than the prior ones here. But overall, this trend is not broken. We still have made higher highs and higher lows along the way. So business as usual in the SPY. Now, what about the Qs? Let's move on to the QQQs. All right. So here it's a little bit different. So what do I mean by this? First off, all right. So what's really unique right now about the Qs is that we have the very rare situation that price is trading near a former resistance level. You can see this little green line here and near a support level. That is a reinforced level because broken resistance will later on act as support. We have this here. And of course, support will act as support. So this is a super reinforced level. And if you look at trend radar, hey, we do have a level 4 pullback, but it's just a pullback. It's not more than this. So a healthy pullback state, and we are at this key level. So to me, a very strong sign that we will see a bounce off this level. And of course, this one has happened on Friday already. So also here, business as usual. We are simply bouncing off after a correction, and I expect higher highs as we go. Well, higher highs from the current price as we go into the next week for the Qs. Okay, moving on. Gold. Gold, guys, I said there are some interesting setups right now. Gold is super interesting. And actually, let me just quickly hide these dividend columns because I want to show something to you. GLD. What do we see here? So the GLD ETF is currently in a long break retrace state. If you have followed us for a while, and if you joined these sessions week after week, you know that this is one of my favorite setups for an entry. And right now, gold is in such a setup. So it's super interesting. If I click on it, we can clearly see once this loads that, hey, gold broke above resistance here on January the 31st. It initially went up, but then it corrected itself. It retraced now down towards this broken resistance level. And once again, once resistance is broken, it will act as support. And this is exactly what we're seeing right now. And my hope is that we see a bit of a deeper correction on Monday or Tuesday when the market reopens, perhaps towards the 260 area. And this could be a great moment to scale into a long trade in GLD. Also, Trend Radar here is showing us a healthy level 3 pullback. So yeah, that's my hope for Monday, that this price will come down a little bit further for a long entry. But if you don't want to wait so long, I think it is also valid to potentially scale into a long position here in gold. Perhaps open a small position when the market reopens. And if price dips a bit further, keep scaling in until we hit our former resistance level here around 257. All right. So that was gold. And what about oil? The United States Oil Fund. Okay, opening it up. So in oil, and when I said in the beginning, hey, it's pretty much business as usual. Well, also in oil, nothing much has changed, except for the fact that we are now smack down the middle here between support and resistance. And yeah, it's everybody's guess right now where price is going to go. My feeling tells me it's going to go further to the downside. But who knows? We are right in the middle. So price will move either to the upside or downside. We call this a magnet zone trade where price is likely to move, not stay stagnant where it is right now. That's what a magnet zone is. It will be magnetically drawn, sorry for this, either to resistance up here or to support down here. And overall, if you look at this price chart, oil is very much within its a parallel trend channel for years now, for at least since 2023, but even longer. We are in this channel, quite parallel. Price bouncing off 83 to 63, back to 83, down to the 60s, up to 83. Now we're on a leg further down. So very sideways, the oil price from a macro point of view. All right, and one last symbol, of course, that's also a symbol of interest for many of you is Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin has been under pressure lately. And what's interesting here is that, we broke below support. So here, support has not held up. And actually for Bitcoin, it's also a quite unique scenario where support right now is above price. It didn't hold up, so the support level was broken and price then now moved towards the middle in between this former support level, which broke, which now may act as resistance, and this former resistance level, which may act now as support. So here the roles are kind of reversed. My feeling tells me, and also the option professor, if you join our lunch and learn sessions on Tuesdays, had the same forecast that, hey, we may see another move down here towards this level, the 73,000. If this happens, so it would be our classic zone break retrace setup, which would have played out over several months. And this could be a prime opportunity to enter long Bitcoin. Even right now, if you're looking for a longer term investment in Bitcoin, I think it's an interesting opportunity to at least scale into a long position here in Bitcoin. Because the forecast is still by June 2025, we may see levels of 150,000. At least that's what history dictates. 18 months after the halving process, when it becomes twice as difficult to mine Bitcoins, price tripled up. So if that's the case, then 150 would be the estimate by June 2025. But who knows what's going to happen. All right, guys, this was the market review, but do we have some questions at this point? Nicholas,
Yeah,
is there
Daniel,
anything?
we have an important one from Ron, and he asks, we on our Liquidity View purchase page, it says, hey, our biggest sale ever, 50% off. But when you click the link to the purchase, it doesn't show the discount anywhere.
Oh, the discount code is GET50. GE. Well, let me just write this into. Yeah, we do have a sale where the first 3 months you get a 50% discount for the monthly. And Well, for the yearly, it's for the first year. Simply enter get 51 word into the coupon box. And in
Okay,
fact, let me just, can you
yeah,
type this in,
it's not,
Nicholas?
yeah, sure. It's actually not in any of the emails I'm reading, the discount code. So
Oh, okay. So
disc,
that probably was an oversight. It's definitely mentioned on the site, on the checkout, on the landing page about the dashboard. It should be somewhere there, but the discount code is get 50.
okay,
All
yep.
right.
So that's the discount code, guys. And then we have a question here from Keith. So Keith, no. The answer is no. So Keith got a couple of friend requests on Discord from Daniel and Homa. We'll never do that. We never ever send friend
Yeah.
requests or private messages ever. So that'll never be us. And Dave and okay, Kumar, we're going to get to your question in a second. David, maybe we can answer this one right here because it's on your chart there, Daniel. He says, what would have to happen for a level 4 pullback to transition into, a reversal where all 5 levels go red? So what causes that to happen, like
Well,
we see here on the chart?
a price move in that direction would cost us. You can see it here, this pullback, which used to be level 4 right here. Price went even further down and became a level 5 pullback. And it makes sense in this case because we broke this support level, it didn't hold up. Price went further down, and this pullback is deeper uh, than I guess, the regular pullbacks on Bitcoin. It's quite substantial, and it looks to me here that the next stop would be this former resistance level. But you can see it here. So this obviously is a warning sign that potentially this correction in Bitcoin. Of course, overall we are still bullish. Emmy Rush tells us since 486 trading days, we are bullish Bitcoin. So if I zoom out a little bit here, you can see it here. Emmy Rush since November 2023 says we are bullish Bitcoin. What a move it was. And we are still bullish as per Emmy Rush. But this correction is now above what we would call a healthy pullback. All 5 levels and trend radar are red. But one thing to keep in mind, David, is that trend radar has a shorter outlook than Emmy Rush. Emmy Rush is really your macro trend of what's going on. Trend radar of these pullbacks, it looks back for a shorter period of time to identify these levels. Because always keep this in mind. So the macro trend can be bullish, but this pullback now is deeper than what we would consider a healthy pullback.
Perfect. Okay. And then Kumar says, how do you zero in on critical? So how do we find critical support and resistance levels
Well,
for long-term trades? So that's
that's
liquidity
what
IQ. Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do today, Kumar. So please look out. We're gonna scan now for these levels.
Yep.
There
And
are
then the other
various
question
setups.
was, is the criteria different for day trades? And Kumar, the only thing that would be different, maybe we'll look at that at the end, is we just changed the reference time frame
Yeah.
when you change chart time frames.
Yeah, actually, it was a good example. I'm just gonna open this up real quick on our where is it? Sorry, once. If I go to trading view here, this is a great example for this. How similar the technical setup actually is on day trading and on swing trading. It's basically exactly the same thing. Look at MNQ here on the 5 minute. This is what happened on Friday. So, what a move we had off these lows here. But look what happened. Price went into this support level, and we saw a crazy bounce off support. And this level, this was from a day trading point of view, as per our liquidity IQ indicator. And these are exactly the same setups that we're looking now for swing trading. So the technical setup that we may bounce off a support level to the upside, that's the same on day trading and on swing trading. Nothing changes there. It's just that you're looking at a smaller time frame. All right, cool.
Perfect. Okay.
That's it. Okay, so now, of course, we want to find the most interesting symbols to consider for the week ahead. And I'm telling you already, there are some really good ones there. I did a bit of a sneak peek. So what are our criteria? So first off, typically we're looking for something which we would call high reward and low risk, meaning we can gain more as we would potentially lose on that trade. This, however, requires a fairly tight stop loss, which, if it's a tight stop loss, you may get stopped out because in a whipsaw move, if your stop was not wide enough, you get stopped out. To me, I like to trade that way because I know exactly what I risk. I want to get out of a position which goes against me quite early instead of holding on to it. That's just my trading style. But of course, where you put your stop loss, the wider you put it, the more conservative you are, the tighter it is, the more aggressive you are. That's a personal decision. Okay, so we're gonna focus on one setup at a time. I'm gonna look at three different setups today, which is bounce, zone break, and zone break retrace. We're gonna then create a hot list, and at the end of this session, we're gonna go through the symbols in our hot list and find the most promising ones. All right, so what are these three setups? Well, the first one is going to be our bounce setup with a spice of healthy pullback. All right, what does that mean? Okay, let's talk about healthy pullbacks first. So a healthy pullback is indicated by our trend radar indicator. And the precondition for this is that we are in a long-term uptrend. From a macro point of view, we want to be in an uptrend as per our MA rush indicator. That's condition number one. And condition number two is that we currently are witnessing a correction in trend, a pause in trend. The price actually is not going up anymore. It is going down instead for a little bit. And we can pinpoint these scenarios as per our trend radar indicator. You can see down here, this little heat map below the price chart where you see these little red patches. Yeah. And these are interesting entry opportunities into this overarching long trend because you're going to get in cheaper at the lower price and with less risk on the table because your stop loss is going to be closer. Two very important criteria for a trend trade, for any trend trade. And especially if this pullback coincides with a key support level. It's not the case here. You can see support is all the way down here. But sometimes we have the unique situation where this pullback will actually coincide with a support level. Now, we call this the bounce setup. That's why we're combining these two. So a bounce setup is where price is near a support level. And support acting as support may prevent price from going further down. Instead, price will bounce off, the name comes from, towards the middle, in between support and resistance. This is exactly what we're going to be looking for. So how can we do this using our dashboard? Well, I'm going to show you. So back to the dashboard. There we go. All right. And I'm going to clear this out. And as you can see here right now, we're scanning through roughly 4,934 symbols. Okay. So criteria number one is we want to be in a long-term macro uptrend. This is where our MA rush indicator comes in. So if I hide everything on the chart here, and once again, let me go through the full screen view, we can see here MA rush for Bitcoin, this is still Bitcoin, is bullish since November 2023. Before this, if I scroll back a little bit, it was bearish. There we go. Since before this, it was bearish, and before this, it was bullish again. So this indicator shows you from a macro point of view, what is the what is the overall trend direction? And these always alternate: bearish, bullish, and so forth. Okay, so this is MA rush. Now, in our scanner, in the MA rush column here, and if you can't see it, make sure it's enabled in our column configurator here. And on top of this, there's also enough space on your scanner. If you don't see it here, if it's hidden to the right side, you can simply drag this little thing here to make the scanner wider or smaller. Okay, so we're going to filter now for symbols which are bullish, simply by clicking on this little filter icon here and going down to bullish. All right, and once done, we can see, okay, now we're down to 2,656 stocks out of our 4,934 stocks. So we filled out a whole bunch of stocks already. That's good. The next filter we want to see is that we are currently in a level 4 pullback. Like a pullback like this, where trend radar is down 4 levels. That's the deepest healthy pullback that we are considering. You can also scan for level 3 pullbacks, but in our experience, you get better results if you are focusing on level 4 pullbacks, which are deeper ones, which will give you even a deeper correction in price. So how can we do this? We're going to go to our pullback column here, which relates to trend radar, and we'll select bullish bull level 4 pullback. Once done, we can now see, hey, we're down to 353 stocks, and everyone shows a level 4 here. So they're all in an uptrend, like AGO. Oops, wrong click. We can see here AGO, a short guarantee LTD, is currently in a level 4 pullback. You can see it here. I guess after an earnings gap on Friday or Thursday night. And we are in a long-term uptrend. Since 1,010 days, we are in uptrend. So if I scroll all the way back, you would see, yes, this symbol, once this loads, is currently in a long-term uptrend. Let me just quickly find it here. Where's the start? There. Since February 2021, we are in an uptrend as per our ME Rush indicator. Okay, so these are the first two criteria, and we have one more. We want price to coincide with a support level as per our ME Rush indicator. So just like this one here, coincidentally, yeah, price is, in addition to all this, near a support level, near this reddish level here. So in this case, everything comes together. Long-term uptrend, level 4 pullback, and we are near support. And these are great opportunities to enter into the long direction, anticipating a bounce to the upside from the support level. So how can we filter for these stocks? Well, these are based on our Liquidity IQ indicator. So we're going to go to our Liquidity IQ setup here in the scanner, and we will select long bounce. And then we can see only 19 stocks survived this very stringent scan criteria. So we narrowed down our 5,000 stocks to only 19. And there's one more thing I like to do. I like to sort by trend duration. Yeah, by clicking on this MA Rush column here from the highest to the lowest. And we can see here the highest one that came up is CAAP, Corporación America Airports. And you may say, hey, what the hell is this company all about? Well, actually, I don't know, but I can click on this info box here. And once we do, it will pop up and we can see, okay, Corporación America Airports is doing some, operates airport concessions. So these stores, I guess, in the airport, I would guess so, that are available. And they have stores in Latin America, Europe, and Asia as well. All right, great. Now I know what they're doing, based out of Luxembourg, as you can see here. And yeah, so you can learn more about this symbol. Okay, so let's click on it and see what the chart will tell us. All right, so what do we see here? Okay. Just a second until this loads. It's always a bit slow when I'm sharing my screen for some weird reason. Okay, so now it loaded, and let me make this to a full screen. And I don't really like what I am seeing right here. Do you know why? Even though the setup, everything comes together. We are near support, long-term uptrend, and level 4 pullback. But this price action, it's kind of very strange. It's very gappy. It's quite flat out of recent history. And our resistance level is right above price. There's not, in other words, there's not enough room or not a lot of room above price right now. So I'm going to skip this one. It is not so appealing to me, even though many things come together. That's why it's always also important to look at your chart just to make sure that, hey, also to your eye, it looks pretty. It looks clean. Maybe not pretty is not the right word, but it's a clean setup. Here, in this case, it's not the cleanest one. So I'm going to skip this one. All right, next one, Ago. Yes, Ago I like a lot. That's the one we just had before. This is one which I would definitely consider for a long entry. We're going to add this one to our shortlist in a second. Why is that? A much cleaner uptrend. Now we can see it here. A clean bounce of our levels. We never really got below the support level, at least in recent history, since we came up all the way to this level. And on top of all this, we had this big earnings gap. You know what's interesting about gaps? Gaps tend to get filled over time. So if this gap fill is supposed to happen or is happening, then price needs to go up. That's just another component in our mix of a criteria that we can check off. So we are near support, level 4 pullback, long-term uptrend, and for this gap to be filled, price needs to go up. So 4 things are in our favor right now that this will go to the upside. So I'm going to add this one to our hot list. For this, I'm going to create a quick hot list here. Add watch list, create, setups, 2025, March 1. Oh, time really flies, huh? Feels like yesterday was the beginning of the year. Crazy. Okay, so I create this watch list. I'm going to add this symbol to our watch list. Oh boy, I can't scroll. 1 second, guys. 1 second. This is a small glitch, not a glitch, so to say. I was going to delete this one. So we have a bit more room available. 1 second. All right. Okay. So Ego, add this to our watch list. Oh, it's up here. Ah, that's why I couldn't find it. I actually miss or spelled it slightly differently. I was wondering why is it not showing up here? Because I spelled it slightly different. I forgot the colon here. Actually, let me fix this right now. You can also rename your watch list. If you go here, go to this one, rename, and it's gonna put the colon here, rename, and once done, now it should show up exactly where I was expecting it to be down here at the end. Okay, so we're gonna add this symbol to our watch list. All right, next one, Descartes System Group Inc. All right, it's also in a long-term uptrend since 560 trading days currently. So you can see it here near a support level. Trend radar is showing a level 4 pullback. Nice. And let me just zoom in here. Yeah, we are in a classic consolidation phase. You can see it here. We made an all-time high. And now since then, price has been correcting and bouncing between resistance and support. And here, one may anticipate a bounce towards the upside because we are right near this support level. Something very similar, actually, we've seen with Agilent. Actually, I'm going to add this real quick to our hot list as well. If you look at Agilent, the symbol was on our chart by chance right at the beginning, but I'm going to type it in here. Oh, it's not. I'm going to clear out the criteria real quick. Agilent, very similar setup, also in a long bounce. There's no pullback right now for Agilent because it went a bit deeper, as you can see it here. But Agilent is also ranging between the 155 area, give or take, and this 124 area. You can see it here, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now we have arrived once again at this lower channel here in Agilent, and this could be an interesting bounce trade as well. If you believe that, hey, history will repeat itself, price may bounce off the support level to the upside. So that could be an interesting setup as well. All right, so real quick, back to our criteria. So what do we have? We had long bounce, MA rush, bullish, and level 4 pullback. Oh, what happened here? 1 second. What's going on? 1 second, guys. Okay. So MA rush, bullish, long bounce, there we go, and level 4 pullback. Okay, and now sorting by duration. So we had Agio and Descartes we discussed, and one more, Elmat, Lemaitre Vascular Inc. Let's see what they're doing here. I guess they had earnings coming out here. And look what happened. We have, of course, a level 4 pullback as per trend radar. We gapped down straight to this support level. I kind of like this one too, because once again, here we have the gap component also in our mix. And if you believe that, hey, gaps tend to get filled over time, well, then price needs to go up. And the signs are quite nicely. We are bullish for more than a year, a level 4 pullback, and we are near support level, and there's this gap to fill to the upside. So yeah, these are, I guess, some interesting setups for our bounce setup. And Niklas, do we have some questions coming in related to the bounce setup, or can we move on?
Yeah, well, I mean, we could look at this one from Vince, which is Palantir a candidate for such a bounce?
Yeah, it's actually Palantir. Let's open up real quick. It is a candidate for a bounce, but here technically, even though I don't want to split hairs about what's the correct technical setup, it is more like a zone break retrace setup. Also not the cleanest one. We went up here above resistance. Price initially went up. We had this gap, went up. Then price retraced down to this broken resistance level, now acting as support. We got the gap fill in this case, sorry, to the downside. Now this up gap was filled to the downside, and now price kind of stopped at this broken resistance level, went a little bit below. And yes, Vincent, I like this setup for a long trade into Palantir, but not without caution. Because one thing that can happen here is that, hey, we bounced off, we broke actually this from a resistance level to the downside. And it is not impossible that this correction will continue all the way down to this level here, to the 65 level, which is this next support level below. So you may want to scale in, but keep in mind, hey, this correction may go a bit deeper all the way to this level. Yeah, so that's Palantir.
Perfect.
All
Okay,
right.
and the other questions that we can cover later.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. So let's go back quickly to our slides. Actually, no, one more thing I wanted to show. The power of bounce, because we almost never do a retrospective of what we discussed last week. But in this case, I want to show you what we discussed last week in the context of a bounce setup and how it panned out this week. So let me quickly go to the setups of last week. This one here, 2025, February the 22nd. Now when we did our scanning session last, when was it? Last Saturday. Yeah. Okay. So here we had AFL. This was a bounce setup back then. If you go to my trade notes here, you can see, and this is the screenshot from last week, we were considering, this takes a little while to load, we're considering a bounce trade. You can see here, price is near this support level. This was last week's screenshot or snapshot of where price was. And look what happened today. So also this was, everything worked out nicely. Long-term uptrend, level 4 pullback, and near a support level. And look at this stock here, Aflac. Of course, they don't always work out like this, but what a beautiful bounce off this level. Look where price is right now. It jumped up. I mean, this is the textbook of what you want to see after you trade a bounce setup. And it's exactly why we are finding this setup so interesting, especially if multiple things are coming together. It can be a very powerful setup.
Daniel, while you're on that note, could you open up RSG? Because this one, I was like, wow, this is one of the, we should do more retrospectives. So RSG, Daniel, you pointed this out on January 4th, right when the year started. I think we sent out an email with it, maybe not yet. But this was, this might be a different note from later on. But if you go to the chart on January 4th on our power scanning session or around there, you said, hey, this is a really high probability long bounce, and it just hasn't stopped going up. I think it's up like 25% or something.
Yeah, I was
the start of the year.
Was it down
right
here?
There.
Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, we retraced back to support level 4 pullback in trend radar and long-term uptrend. These criteria, they don't change. They're always the same criteria. And this is really where the power of this dashboard comes in, because you can now filter from your 5,000 stocks down to the ones which check all your boxes. It doesn't happen very often, but if you scan through so many different stocks, chances are that every single trading day, not just every weekend, you're only having these scanning sessions every weekend, but every single trading day, you will have new interesting setups that you can consider for long or short trades. Thanks, Niklas. Yeah, great. Great retrospective. These are my favorite ones where things work out beautifully. Of course, sometimes they don't, and this is why you need to have a tight stop loss. Or if things don't work out as expected, you just get out of this trade. All right. Okay, so any other questions?
No, we just had one from Moshe here that I was going to answer, saying, hey, do we officially begin using the new beta platform?
Oh, yes.
It's all published now. So
it's all published. The only thing, Mosh, and that's something I'm going to fix this right after this session. There's an oversight on my end. The only thing which we forgot to integrate from our beta version into this production version is the breakdown by sector and industry group. So we used to have 2 more columns, sector and industry group. I simply forgot to make those enabled. These will be there either this afternoon or at the latest tomorrow morning. So, but yes, everything is now integrated. We are happy with the beta features. We tested them with the help of our users for a couple of weeks. Now they are in our production version. Yes.
perfect.
Alrighty. So quickly going back to my slides here, because there are 2 more setups. We're going to combine these ones into this one scan because it's just for the sake of time. It's already 12:43, and we always have a few symbol requests as well I want to go through. So nothing lasts forever. No support zone will last forever. No resistance zone will last forever. Eventually, these ones will be broken. But when this happens, also new opportunities are coming up for us, because then we can anticipate, hey, once we see a zone break, like this one here, price will continue in the direction of the breakout for quite some time. You can see it here very nicely for the short direction when the support is broken, or here for the long direction when resistance is broken. But there's one caveat, which often happens. After an initial move to the upside, we often see a retracement back to the broken level, which then switch roles. In this case, resistance or former resistance will, at this point, when broken, act as support. And after price retraces back to this support level, which used to be resistance, then the move in the direction of the breakout really takes off. And these are prime opportunities to enter into the long direction. Okay, now, how can we scan for these setups? And for the sake of time, I'm going to focus There's a reason for this because there's so many really nice setups this week. I'm going to focus on this particular setup. We already had the zone break and the retracement down to the broken level. So the zone break retrace setup. So let me go back to my dashboard, our dashboard, and let's use our liquidity IQ column once again. And in this case, we're going to filter for the long break retrace state. Once I click on it, you can see that from our 4,934 stocks, only 30 of them are currently in this state. All right, so which ones do we have? And the first one is right here, Costco. So Costco was our trade of the week in our newsletter, which we published last Monday. It was a beautiful long break retrace setup back then. And if I open up this chart, you can see that, all right, so Monday we had a little retracement back to this level. Price initially went up and now a little push further down back to this level again. And we saw an initial bounce already. This is still very interesting for me. If we see potentially another leg a little bit down in Costco, perhaps to this level here, 1030, around the 1030 zone, or maybe even a bit deeper, this could be a beautiful opportunity to enter into this long trade in Costco. Costco is a super, super bullish stock. It trades really, really cleanly. If you look at the trend we can see here in Costco, it's just a thing of beauty. And I believe the signs are very convincing, at least to me, that this long-term uptrend where we made consistently higher highs and higher lows along the way is going to continue. And this little pause in trend could be a great opportunity to enter into a long Costco trade. So I really like this one as a zone break retrace trade. So I'm going to add Costco once again to our hot list. Done. All right, next one is DNow. What's now.ing? This is ServiceNow. Let me just quickly see what they're doing here on our list here. No, it's not. Distributes downstream energy and industrial products for petroleum refining. All right, so LNG stuff. Okay, so that's DNow. Okay, bullish for 762 trading days and currently in a zone break retrace setup. Not my favorite one. Why? So I'm going to skip this one for a very distinct reason. Yes, we broke above resistance. Now we retrace back. But look at this one here. A huge gap below. This may get filled. And if it does, price will go much further down. So I'm going to skip this one because I'm not scared, but I'm worried or cautious, I should say. I'm cautious that this gap fill may still be happening and then prices will go further down. So I'm going to skip this one for an entry right now. If you see this gap fill, potentially we can revisit. But for now, I'm going to skip. Next one, and this is going to be a good one, Interactive Brokers. It's a great company. It's in a great business, I think, with the new platform, the new traders workstation, or whatever they call it, for interactive brokers. They really developed something really useful for retail traders. And it's a bullish stock, very bullish stock to begin with. And it broke above its resistance level on, when was it here? On January 23rd this year, we initially went up, yes, as predicted. And now the correction, the fake out of the market down to the broken resistance level, now acting as support. Long-term uptrend and trend radar is also showing us a level 4 healthy pullback. I really like this one for a long entry. If we see a bit of a downwards move even further to like 199 or perhaps, this could be even a better opportunity to enter long Interactive Brokers. So I'm going to add this one. We also, internally, we're using Interactive Brokers as our trading broker. So I like the company for that as well. So I'm going to add this one for our list here. And just out of curiosity, I never checked it, does Interactive Brokers pay dividends to its shareholders? So let me just enable real quick our dividend column here. It does. And the next one is coming up. Oh, it was just paid out. It was just paid out a couple of days ago. But the dividend yield is only 0.49, so probably not such a big factor here. But let me have a quick look. How consistent are they? Oh, they just increased their dividends by quite a bit, from 0.1 to 0.25. So interesting signs. I think it shows the health of the company, and it's, I think, in a business where you have potentially a very big profit margin because you don't have to produce any physical goods. You are a mediator, a broker for facilitating trades. So that could be, to me, that's definitely an interesting line of business. And being the market leader as interactive brokers definitely helps as well. Okay, so I like this one. Next one is Grand Canyon Education. Also a stock I never heard of before, but let's see what this one is all about. All right, so zone break here above resistance. Price initially went up, then the retracement down to this level. Let me quickly see for how long. Let me just disable these columns here real quick. There we go. Yeah, Emmy Rush bullish for 580 trading days, so it's a very bullish stock. We see a bit of a pullback here in trend radar. And yeah, an interesting one as well for a long entry. It's perhaps a stock which, let me just quickly see what they're doing. I guess they're in education. Operates as an educational service company in the United States. Okay, I guess education technology, learning management. Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I guess online learning resources with this company. Interesting one. I mean, we can't trade all the ones. There's some more interesting coming up. And the only thing I don't really like too much about this is a bit gappy and wavy. As you can see here, these corrections can be quite deep at times. I'm going to skip this one. I think we're going to have a cleaner setup coming up here, especially when Netflix comes up. Next one, Alamos Gold Inc. Yes, so similar to GLD, also here, we trade above resistance. Now the pullback back to the broken resistance level. As you can see here, I like it, but I think I would prefer the actual gold ETF instead of trading in an individual company. I think it's a bit more diversified that way, so I'm going to skip this one as well. Moving on to Mitsubishi Financial Group. What's going on here? Too gappy for me. Too many gaps here. I think it's not liquid enough. Let's move on to Netflix. All right. Netflix is in a zone break retrace state. I like Netflix. It's a nice uptrend with big moves. Of course, we had earnings here on January 21st, a big gap up, the follow through to all-time highs here at 1,060. Now the retracement down to the broken level. I'm gonna add Netflix. I know you guys gonna say, hey, isn't it the same thing? We had this earnings gap here, and this gap may be closed. Perhaps, but just because it's Netflix, it's I think a very solid shop, very bullish. I think this earnings gap will, in this case, it's more unlikely to be filled, and I'm going to consider this one as a long entry for the future. So I'm going to add this one to our watch list. And one more, let's grab this gold here. Let's go to the Spider Gold ETF. We had this one before. I like it a lot. This retracement in gold. If we see a bit of a deeper pullback here to the 260 zone, I think this could be a very interesting one for a long entry in gold. So I'm going to add this one as well to our hot list. All right, Niklas, are there any questions, or can we go through our hot list to see which ones are the most interesting ones?
Yeah, I think we should cover this question here about break retraces. So from Barkley saying, what's the difference between a retrace and a long break? And I think it's an easy answer here, Daniel. The
Yeah.
question was on JPM and HQY. If you can go to JPM, please, the
Yeah.
chart,
All right.
asking, hey, how come it says it's a zone break now? And even though it looks like a retrace.
Yeah, let's have a look at the chart. Yeah, a zone break for 3 days. Wow, this is actually a really cool one. Actually, evidence of how nice the retrace can work. So what happened here? All right. So we had the original zone break here on, when was it? On Jan 21st. Price went up, then retraced all the way down here to this level. Actually broke this level just a little bit, wicked below this level. That's why this technically is a new zone break. But in fact, it's really just a zone break retrace. And then price bounced off this level as we expected. And now it's too far away from this resistance level here to be qualifying for a retrace because we are too far away. So the retrace only happens when we are in the proximity of this level here, which right now, if the close price on Friday is no longer the case. But this is evidence of how nice the setup can work out, this zone break retrace. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, the difference is it came down through the level, Barkley, and then it broke back above. So it's a fresh zone break, like Daniel said, until more bars pass, and then it retraces again to the zone.
But
And
we don't have to split hairs here. This is, the indicator, of course, looks for exact breaks of a price level. But to me, from with the eye, just looking at manually, this is a classic zone break retrace. I would not call this a technical zone break because it pretty much held the level anyways. And then we just bounced off this retrace move. Yeah.
Agreed. And then one last question here, and then we can go to the
Yeah.
hot list, is which markets or stock exchanges does the dashboard screen? From Stephanie.
Yeah, the New York Stock Exchange, the Nasdaq, a bunch of ETFs. We also have, if you go to asset classes here, let's clear this out. We also screen FX, the major FX crosses, also the minors, futures from an end of day point of view, and also cryptos and indices. So it's very mixed. We also have German stocks in there. So a quick trick here, if you want to see, hey, what are, and we do have quite a few German clients, what are the German stocks? Simply go pick into the or enter into the search box here .de, and then you can see all the German stocks because they all have this little, suffix at the end .de.
Perfect. Okay. And then, yep, Dennis just said, hey, IBKR also has huge volume, 3 times the average, which is good for that setup. And that's
Yeah,
it. We're going to cover the other questions once we get moving forward. And just Steph had one last one. Does it cover Canadian stocks, Toronto Exchange?
not yet, but that's gonna come. We actually so I'm so happy this is finally now live because we made a huge change in our backend. You don't see any visual change, but internally it was a really big project which is finally completed. We're finally happy with it. And the main objective of making that big back end X back end change, sorry, was that we are now in the position to add way more symbols to our dashboard and scanner. So stay tuned for Canadian symbols. We're going to add Swiss symbols, Aussie symbols, all these ones, and even some small cap stocks in the US market as well. So that's all going to come very soon.
Perfect. Okay,
So
Daniel,
super
you're good to
happy.
go.
Okay. Yeah, I talked a lot today. If you one of the German users who were there at my first webinar in German at 10 a.m. Montreal time. You probably can understand that my voice is fading a little bit now towards the end because I had back-to-back webinars. Okay, so back to our watch list. I'm going to open it up March 1st. All right, and these are our hot list stocks. So I'm going to sort them real quick by the setup. So we had a couple of bounce setups and a couple of long break retrace setups. Let's start with the bounce ones. So DSGX, Descartes Systems Group. All right, let's take a closer look at this particular symbol. There we go. All right. Okay, so yes, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to have a quick look at what this company does. Cloud-based logistics supply chain. Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, very bullish. Bullish for 560 trading days. Let me just quickly zoom out a little bit. Yeah, this looks good to me. And we had this big move up, now a bit of a consolidation phase. We ended up at the lower end of this consolidation. It's a nice long. I'm gonna add this one to our potential entry candidates for Monday. So for this, I'm gonna open up the trade notes section here and simply going to add this chart snapshot right now to my trade notes. Of course, you can also add some commentary here left and right if you want. I don't have time for this right now, but it is an interesting one. So for a long bounce. Next one, AGO. Yes, that's a good one too. AGO. Love it. Definitely going to add it. We discussed it before. Gap down here towards the support level, long-term uptrend, level 4 pullback and trend radar. So if you think this gap's going to get filled, you have a lot of confirming factors here, especially with the support level right here. So I'm also going to add this one to our list. All right, as you can see here, I'm only adding this chart screenshot. You can do all kinds of other stuff, and you can even dictate your trade notes. Let me just show you how this works. If I were to dictate my notes right now, we can, for example, see this symbol is currently trading near support level. We are looking for a gap to be filled, and especially since the stock is also in a long-term uptrend. All right, pretty good. Considering my German accent, that's pretty good what this dictation did here. So I'm happy. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna close this up. Next one. And by the way, guys, if you are using, if you're German and if you switch the language to German here, you can dictate in German as well, which is also possible. Lemaitre Vascular Inc. All right. Yeah, another gap fill here. I like it too. I don't want to trade every single one, but I also like this one. down to support here after this gap fill. Yeah, looks interesting too. Honestly, you know what? I'm also going to add this one to my list here. Let me just quickly see what the stock is doing. Medical devices, yeah, vascular. That sounds like medical devices. Of course, a big gap down. That's always a bit of a concern with anything in the medical field or pharma field. If something gets approved or disproved by the regulators, this can have huge swings in the stock price. So always keep this in mind. But I'm gonna add this one anyways to my hot list here. All right, that's done as well. Okay. Okay, I like all of them so far. Interactive brokers, yeah, that's it's a clear yes as well. Long break retrace set up with a level 4 pullback. I think it's a really solid shop, a very bullish stock, a clean uptrend, just taking a bit of a breather right now. Retrace went back to the broken resistance level, now acting as support. I have no choice but to add this one as well to our list. And sometimes all our stocks in the hot list they kind of qualify. Costco, yes. I mean, I didn't change my opinion from last Tuesday. This was our trade of the day last Tuesday. We're pretty much still in the very similar setup for a long entry. The only thing here, this shows you another nice feature of our trade notes features. I want to wait. Where is it? I want to wait for a bit of a retracement towards this level here. I don't want to enter right now. I think it's going to go one more time a bit lower. I might be wrong, but that's my hope. So I'm going to wait until this happens. Let me add this to our trade notes as well. And by the way, for the trade notes, this was the annotation last February, and you can now add another trade note with today's timestamp. You can see it here. Click on the add sign here. I'm going to add another trade note here with today's timestamp of March 1st. Same thing. And the interesting thing is any annotation that you've had on the chart will also be added to this trade note, which is really cool. All right. Netflix. Yes, Netflix, the gap fill. Since we cannot trade everything, I'm going to skip Netflix, even though I still very much like it, just because of this gap fill state here. This retracement may be a bit lower. You never know. If we see this gap fill happening, I think price is going to go all the way down to this level here. And this then could be a really interesting opportunity to enter long. It doesn't mean that we're not going to bounce off this level right away, but I'm going to skip this one just because of this gap one here. And then gold. Gold I like a lot. Here, I would also love to see a bit of a deeper correction to this level. If we see this, yeah, I'm going to jump in gold for a long exposure. Even right now, you may want to scale into this position for this beautiful long break retrace entry, as we can see it here. It's also going to add gold to our list. This was on this was on Feb 1st. Look at this one. This was our trade note back then, where we said, hey, we had a zone break, and we may see gold to fly off. And guess what happened? This was here. It flew off as predicted. Now the retracement, and this could be another interesting opportunity into gold. So let's see how this one will pan off. All right, guys. That was our list. I think super interesting week ahead. I'm excited when the market opens already. So now let's open up the room for questions. Who do we have?
Hey, so we have one question we can cover here from Kumar, which is basically, hey, I'm not seeing the same lineup of stocks on my scanner. So maybe if you could just go quickly through what the filters you use in general are.
Yeah, first off, Kumar, make sure you're on the end of day scanner. Because if you're in any of your watch list, then you would only, filter through whatever's in your watch list. So you want to be here in the end of day scanner. Secondly, make sure that you have no filter enabled. You're in the status quo, like the starting status of the dashboard. So whenever you have a filter on, let's say this one here, you see this little yellow button. Click on it to remove all filters. So we're down there, and then just simply enter the filters as I done it. So for example, for our zone break retrace, simply go down here to long break retrace. You click on it. And once done, my dashboard just froze for a second. Once done, you will see all these 30 stocks which are currently in a zone break retrace state. Yeah, this should be the same for everyone.
Perfect. Okay, and then another one from, well, we might as well cover these two right now. They're Trend Radar. One from Kumar. When all the bars turn red on Trend Radar, or when they all turn a color, I guess, is it now time to initiate a trade, or is it time to exit?
No, not necessarily. I would not personally enter whenever Trend Radar gets all red or green. Let me just give you an example of this. I guess oil could be one. I'm just guessing. Let's have a quick look here. Okay, so what do we have in oil? I think this was a bit of a sideways range. Yeah, look at this one here. So here, frequently, Trend Radar, this makes it a bit bigger, full screen. Trend Radar frequently went from all green to all red to all green to all red. Would you trade based on this? No. This just gives me a read of what's going on here. I can clearly say this is a clear textbook sideways pattern. So if the market is sideways, you have this alternations between reddish and greenish, in quick succession. It's just, sorry, it's a sign that we're in a sideways market. Because we could have told this also by just looking at the price action here manually. What I like Trend Radar for is for healthy pullback scans. So here's an example, Costco. What do we have in Costco? All right. So real quick. So this one here, look, when we are in a very nicely trending stock and we see these patches of red within an overall greenish area. So this is mostly green. We have these patches. These are prime opportunities to enter long because these are when price or trend takes a break, makes a pause, and then you enter. So this is how I use Trend Radar.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. And then one from David.
Sorry.
If you had to guess when a stock retraces back to its resistance zone, so basically, what if you had to guess on break retraces, what
Yeah.
percentage do you think actually
Oh
retrace
boy.
back up? That'd be the statistics feature coming up later on.
We are planning to have a statistics feature here where we can actually see this, how this happens overall for the market or for a particular stock. So you're going to have these stats coming up. By the way, guys, we have so many big plans for this dashboard. Let me just give you 3 teasers, which are all going to come this year. Teaser, and by the way, if you guys want to sign in for the year, you now have the opportunity to do it at a discount. So thing number 1, we definitely going to add is seasonality. I would love to see what are some seasonal patterns for stock. For example, Apple. People say, hey, Apple goes up more in December than any other month. I would love some evidence of this in terms of statistics that this is actually the case. So that's going to come. Dividend evolution over time. Is there a stock which constantly increased their dividends year after year after year? I'd like to see this for a long-term investment. If so, how much was the dividend increase year after year? Does it beat inflation? That's going to be something which is going to be added very soon. And thirdly, general statistics. How frequent are zone break retraces? How often do they actually work out if you trade them? How often does it work out if you trade a bounce setup when MA Rush is also bullish? All these things are going to come. So as I mentioned, we have big plans for this dashboard. And now with our internal change to the new infrastructure, all this will be possible. So thanks for being patient for this. I know I said, hey, we're going to make these much faster, but we had just to make sure that our internal infrastructure is all solid, which is the case now. And now we can, embark to new endeavors with the dashboard.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. And here from Chris Coppinger, I think.
Yeah. Hey,
I can answer
Chris.
this one real quick. Hey, is volume okay on DSGX? And he says currently 218K, but I looked at the average and it seems to be around, sometimes 400, 500K. I think this one looks pretty solid if you put on a volume indicator. This doesn't look like an illiquid stock.
Yeah, let me just quickly see what the volume is in here. Yeah, it's not too, it's low for sure. That's a good point. I didn't even look at the volume part here.
It goes up to 1 million on some days though, so I
Yeah.
really think this is and if you look at the price action, it's not like it's a choppy illiquid type deal.
Yeah. It's it's definitely not I mean, if you look at the market cap real quick too, let me just quickly have a look. Yeah, 9.55 billion. I mean, it's a big stock, which and by the way, guys, this volume, it's volume of shares traded. This is a stock which is fairly expensive at $111 right now. So the trade volume in dollars is actually quite substantial day after day. So I think it's fine. I agree with Nicholas.
Perfect. Okay. And then Andrea, if I want to call someone to advise on setting up the dashboard or buying any of our products, what number do I call? And what is your email address?
Yeah, so the email, I'll also share my number if you once you email me. You actually can see it in my email signature. So that's possible. Send me an email first at ds@tradingindicators.com, and Niklas, maybe put this
I
into
put
the
that in the chat. Yeah.
perfect, or info@tradingindicators.com. They will come to the same inbox pretty much. Send me a quick note and we'll take it from there. Okay, that's no problem. And I'd be happy to talk to you about any of the setups we're discussing here or potentially our products.
Perfect. Okay. And then Mark, you actually already answered this. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but do you wait for green to show on Trend Radar? And Daniel said no when he explained it for Kumar's
Yeah. But
question.
yeah, that's good. And actually, there's one more nuance I forgot to mention, and it's a good segue. Thanks, Niklas, for that. Is so there are two ways to enter into after a pullback happens. So again, trend radar. We're focusing on this one down here. So if you want to go in aggressively, you can enter right when you see this patch here of 4 red, for example, level 4 pullback. That would be an aggressive entry. You get in super early. A more conservative entry, it would be if you're gonna wait until it turns green again and then you jump in. So you wait for the confirmation. Of course, the downside is that prices will already have turned up a little bit. So that's a question of trading preference. It's personal. I personally, that's what we're scanning for here. I enter on the pullback. But if you're more conservative, you want to wait for confirmation that it turns green again and then you jump in.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's take a look here. Okay. And David just mentions on Costco, he thinks he believes earnings
Earnings.
are
Yeah.
next week. So keep that in mind.
And
Does
by the way,
high,
yeah,
oh,
real
go
quick
ahead.
for the earnings, sorry. Yes, we can see it here too. We have this beautiful earnings column on March 6th. Yes, I agree. So that's something to keep in mind for Costco, that, earnings can be unpredictable. Maybe you want to wait a little bit after the earnings and then consider this trade. Mhm.
Okay. And then from Chris, does high in the volume in the volatility column influence your decisions?
Not really. This is mainly meant for option traders as an additional filter. Let me just show this column here. So by the way, guys, if the column doesn't show up because there's not enough space, you can drag it all the way here to make this bigger. He refers to this column here, this one here. It was meant to be, and we're going to be refining this over the next weeks, meant to be an indication as to how volatile the market is. If you're an options trader, if the market is very volatile, it means typically that the option premiums are quite high because it's always priced in. If the volatility is low, you can see here at a glance, hey, chances are options premium will be fairly low. Just as an indication if you were considering option trades, what to focus on. Because if you go
On,
long an option trade, you want to go on as cheap as possible and sell them high. If you're selling options, maybe you're looking for high volatility. So it's yeah, it goes both ways.
on that note, Norman says, how about options liquidity? So I don't remember what we were
Yeah,
talking about the exact minute.
we do have this column here. It's called optionable. This one here, which shows you whether this stock has an options chain. But not only this, it also looks at how liquid, at least it estimates it, how liquid this options chain is. It's also something we want to refine in the future to give you more information as to how liquid an options chain is. Of course, a super important criteria. If you could see it in the dashboard, the better it is. But of course, you will also always see when you open up the options chain with your broker, how many options are being traded at certain levels and strike prices and expirations. And then you can always confirm that. But yeah, for options trading, liquidity, very important.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. And then from Moshe, can you please go to HIMS, the symbol? And this question is, should this have shown as a bounce retrace? HIMS, yeah, HIMS.
Hymns, yeah,
So it definitely
it
would
is a
have
long
a
it
couple
is a
days
long
ago.
break retrace. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's a it's a long break retrace. Yeah. The reason why I guess we didn't see it was because I'm sure it was in there. So if I go, let me just do this real quick, a little live demo here. Let's go to long break retrace, and hymns should definitely be here. It's right there. Yep. Now that's a long break retrace trade.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Okay. And then now I think we're going to swap over because we have some short-term chart requests to
Yeah.
TradingView. But first, we have a question from Mark. How would this dashboard work for futures, or does it not?
It does, but from a swing trading point of view. So I mean, if you're a futures trader, chances are that's not what you're doing. You probably day trade futures. It's not geared towards this because it has end of day data. We do have future symbols. If you go to our asset class filter here, go to futures, you can see the classic ones, gold futures, micro gold, ES, and so forth. Uh, you can see them here the same way with the same indicators. But for day trading, unfortunately, we don't scan for this. It's geared towards swing trading. But for day trading, hey, you're just gonna use the individual indicators as we do all the time on our day trading channel. By the way, guys, forgot to mention that one. We had our live trading workshop for day trading on Thursday. It's on our YouTube channel. Check it out there, where we traded two beautiful short setups. Forgot which ones these were. What were these again?
They were soybean oil futures, and the
So
other one was
Dow. Was it Dow short? Oh,
no, it was Russell
oh,
M2K.
the Russell short. Yeah, okay. Yeah, two great setups. Oh man, especially the soybeans one. Let me actually real quick, guys. Let me show you what that trade was. Soybean futures ZS. Oh, it was this short move, and it was a thing of beauty. A zone break retrace, I believe at the time. Was it that move? Maybe
Yeah,
this was.
it was. It was back there on Thursday, not that day, Friday, the day before, and we had a
Oh,
different
this one.
reference time
This
frame.
one. It was
That one
this
right
one
there,
here.
or
Yes.
right around there. I think a little bit after, but then
We
yeah,
traded this one here and we went short. I closed it out way too early. This could have been such a nice one. We closed it out here already, but this move worked out to perfection. And this was also confirmed by our volume IQ indicator at the time, showing us, hey, there was a tier two sell zone as per our volume profile. Of course, things have changed now,
I
but
think this is a different sim. Oh no, it's the right symbol. You're right. I'm
yeah.
wrong.
No. Anyways, check out the workshop to see how we found this gem where really everything came together. So that's by the way, also posted. Hang on 1 second. It's always good to do a little bit of jumping around. Where did I post this one here? So I wrote this one up, even annotated it for you. Zone break retrace setup of soybeans future ZL on the M5 time frame. We entered here. I closed it out here. This went all the way down here. But you can level two, tier two, sell zone of volume IQ. We are near this resistance level. And at the time, I think our MA rush or momentum was also bearish. This was a beautiful setup where everything came together with a beautiful outcome.
And I see now, yeah, it was a great trade. And I see, Daniel, that why I was confused is on the chart there, it's actually just in case anyone's confused, soybean oil futures, ZL. And on the chart here, we had soybean futures,
Oh,
which is different,
God, oh, that's different.
ZS. But they look obviously a lot alike. One is the oil from the bean.
Yeah, yep. Cool.
Okay. And then now we have a question. If we can go back to the dashboard quick, last one there is BITO, the Bitcoin ETF. If you could just have a look at
Yeah,
that chart.
yeah. A quick look. BITO. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here, let me just zoom out. Yeah, whoa, this ETF looks all over the
Not too
place.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, oh boy, this didn't really follow the Bitcoin price as nicely as I may have thought, huh? Especially here. Is this the right? Yeah, no, I'm not sure what exactly the story behind this ETF is, but this looks kind of all over the place. Now we're in this magnet zone in between support and resistance. Yeah, it's technically not a clean setup, so I would stay away from trading this one. I have no read on that one. Yeah,
Perfect. Okay. And if you could please hop over to TradingView, Daniel.
yeah.
We have one from David, and he wants you to look at SPY and QQQ on a
On the
15-minute chart
oh, okay, okay.
and setting liquidity IQ like we do in our Discord alerts to the 1 hour
All right. So a
on the
quick
and
look.
yeah.
Is this the right one? Yeah. All
So
right.
liquidity IQ on the 1 hour and then the chart on the 15-minute.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this.
And he
15
wanted to
minute.
know on SPY and QQQ, would these indicators, liquidity and volume IQ, have given a possible heads up on the big bounce coming from the bottom?
Look at this. Yeah. I mean, we just went exactly to this resistance level, sorry, support level here, which we knew about, by the way, or the indicator from this point on, from Monday 9 a.m. The indicator drew this level, and yeah, that's the heads up, yeah, of this big bounce. And actually, back then, when I considered this setup, I also considered this one as we had this tier two buy zone. I guess it was similar here, so it was just right above it, which was also by volume IQ. Of course, we have all these reddish bias blocks, which would have been a big of a warning sign. But yeah, that's I mean the evidence was here. It was right near the support level with a bunch of liquidity captures, evidence that we may see a bounce off.
Perfect. And can we please check out QQQ? Same, exact same
Yeah.
indicator and time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And we check. Is this the
Let's
right
go.
QQQ?
I think
Yeah,
so.
it is. Okay, I thought it was some different country exchange.
Yeah, here it's yeah, here it will be a bit different. Or is it? Let me just actually go
I
and
think
hide
it's
the
not the
volume.
right
I
is it the right
did.
QQQ? It looked like you clicked on the B. Is it, what is BYMA? That's the right
Oh,
one,
this
eh?
is
Or is it?
it? No, no. Shadow each
You're in stocks. That's why. Oh no. It should be there. It should be there.
or nest. It's no, it's this one here. This
There
is
we
the
go.
right one. Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. All
Same
right.
thing.
Good point. Yeah, here I did not, especially on this time frame, did not see any evidence of this. That's probably because we didn't see any levels. If you had configured Liquidity IQ to probably a higher time frame,
The four
let's see,
hour.
yeah, something like that, you may have seen this level here. But you can always also scroll back a little bit, which were some of the past levels. You could have say, hey, we are now trading this past level, and there's some evidence of a bounce coming up.
And this is a good time because we're doing it. If for Kumar's question, can you show how to change the reference time frame for short-term trades? So I think
Yeah,
Kumar actually has Liquidity IQ for a standalone platform.
yeah,
So it's here. And when we're on shorter term trades, Kumar, like let's say we're on the 15 minute, we always set the reference time to at least one time frame higher than the chart we're on. When we're on the
yeah,
15 minute, you could see in our Discord, we use the 1 hour. When we're on the 5, we use 15 minute. And those
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we always go a bit higher. Sometimes just double it up, so from 15 to 30, sometimes even four times as much or even higher to get a good read on what's going on from a macro perspective.
for sure. And you can apply multiple instances of the indicator and give them different color
Yeah,
themes and set them to different reference time frames. You'll have more liquidity levels. And now from
yeah,
Chris, back in the dashboard, can you check out
yeah.
Materials Core MP, a critical minerals
Yeah,
play?
I want to do this. I'm also going to go to Palantir next because that's an interesting one too. Let me just, by the way, if you cannot find something right away by typing it in MP, because that's a very common combination of letters, because the search here searches for the actual name of the stock and the ticker symbol. You just type in the name, materials, this one here. Okay, what do we see here? No setup from Liquidity IQ. Let me just quickly see what is MA Rush doing. Just a second. MA Rush bullish for since 16 days. So we just switched over from bearish to bullish. Now trading near this resistance level here, up up there. And I think since we just switched over, yeah, I can see here. I mean, if you just zoom out a bit, you can see this stock is quite bearish. It came down all the way from higher levels here, much higher levels. So this is still pretty much a downtrend. Even though we switched over here, it is not unlikely we're going to see a short bounce off this resistance level. I think we just went a bit above it. No, well, actually right in there. So yeah, maybe a short play if you're considering this, or otherwise wait until we clear this level entirely to like maybe 27 or something, and then consider a long trade. But overall, the stock is to me in a downtrend and an uptrend, even though Emmy Rush just switched its mind right here.
Definitely. And oftentimes when MA Rush switches, there's a pullback immediately after to get in on the trend. And we have
Yeah.
a really general question here from Kumar. Um, Unrelated question. Does AI bot trading work consistently? So I think that's a hard
Uh,
one to answer.
yeah, it depends on the AI bot. So no, I think it's too general of a question. And it really depends on what the bot is doing. Okay, good. I want to do Palantir real quick because that's of course of interest. What's going on Palantir? So of course Palantir being super hyped up. We had the zone break. Uh, After earnings, I believe, let me just go here on, what was this date? On Feb 4th, the zone break, here the zone break signal, price went up, and now the big correction down to the broken resistance level even further. Once again, this is a warning sign that if there is a big gap, these gaps tend to get filled. So even though you may think, hey, Palantir all the way up here at 125, no, it's still possible. All the way down to the 84, we got the gap fill. There's a reason why there's so many gap traders out there. And now, what would be my read on this? I'm still very bullish Palantir. I think it's a correction in a very strong uptrend. But I feel that we may see a correction down to this level.
Yeah,
That's my feel, my intuition. Of course, that might be completely wrong. I think it's nothing wrong for a long exposure in Palantir, but I would scale, if anything, slowly into that trade because this correction may as well get deeper down to this level here.
definitely. And we have One question here from David. I can get this one. He's a dashboard subscriber. Does the free version of TradingView run our IQ indicators? Yes, it does. It runs all of our indicators, David. You don't need a TradingView subscription just to apply one of our indicators. And
Yeah.
then from Mark, is a short bounce bearish? So what I wanted to say for this one, Daniel, is that a short bounce is just telling you that price is directly below a significant resistance level.
Yeah.
Whether this is bearish or not depends on what's the momentum, what are like the higher time frame look at the symbol if you have a short bounce set up to determine, hey, because a short bounce can really quickly turn into a breakout, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's exactly as Niklas said. We are trading near a resistance level. And then the interpretation of what you think price is going to do next, that's up to you. And you should always consider and factor in additional factors. So what's the overarching trend? What is the pullback state? Do we have a gap like this one coming up? And if you factor all these in, then you can make a conclusion. Say, hey, we are, for this symbol, for example, here for Aztec, whatever the stock is, you can see, yes, it's bearish for 333 trading days. So you can see a price has been coming down. We are now near this resistance level. We have a gap to fill. If you line all these up, you then conclude of what you think the future trend direction will be, or
That's
price
a nice
direction will be.
short bounce setup right there. Like so in this case, Mark, yeah, that'd be pretty bearish. And another thing I would add is that a short bounce setup, if you get a liquidity capture and
Yeah.
everything's bearish, that means that price is also having trouble breaking the resistance, which is even more bearish a lot of
Yeah.
the time.
And one more thing for any setup that you want to consider is you also want to make sure that you have enough room for which price move you're anticipating. So if, for example, there was a support zone right below price action here, basically giving this trade no room at all, that to me would also be a caution, at least that potentially I would not take this trade because I also want to have at least a decent amount of room to move if we see a bounce to happen.
Perfect. And then one last one. If you can look at AVGO,
Yeah.
it has a gap after previous earnings. So it gapped on the last earnings.
Yeah.
Would you
Bullish
think it's
stock.
better to wait until the next earnings pass before trading this one?
So next earnings come on March 6th. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely wait. Um, yeah, we are at this key. I kind of like these setups. I think I'm going to have a scan at some point for exactly these two. I call this a reinforced level where broken resistance and support are kind of at a similar level. This could be a very powerful level. I know earnings are coming out. These are always unpredictable. I would wait until these earnings have transpired and then consider this trade. But yeah,
Cool.
I like it for a long, but since earnings are coming up, I would wait.
Thanks, Daniel. Okay, so we don't have any more questions or symbol requests coming in.
Great. So let me quickly go back to my slides here. So a couple of things. If you have not downloaded our ebook yet, that's the link. It's also in the chat. And we do have a special going on right now for our dashboard where you get the 50% off the next 3 months for the monthly subscription and 50% off the yearly subscription. All you need to do is to enter passcode GET50, one word, into the coupon field. And this is a limited time offer. It's going to be, I think, expiring and going away in a couple of days. So tradingindicators.com, tradingindicators.com/view to take advantage of this offer. And of course, if you want to join our Discord community, it's completely free. Tradingindicators.com/Discord. All right. So, Nicholas, thank you so much for your assistance, as always, in this webinar.
Pleasure.
I thank you. Yeah, I thank you all for joining us. And if there was a question which we did not cover, please send me a note via our homepage at tradingindicators.com. In the contact form, put your question there. It will go straight to my inbox, and I'll make sure to get back to all these questions as soon as I can. And Kumar, all the prior recordings are on our YouTube page. Go to our homepage, tradingindicators.com. There's a YouTube icon in the top right. Click on it. It will get you to the YouTube page, and all the recordings can be found there, including this one, by the way, which is also being recorded, and you're going to get the recording probably in 1 or 2 hours on our YouTube page. All right, guys. So with that, have a great weekend. Yeah, relax a little bit, and I'm gonna see you all next week at the latest at our lunch and learn session. Oh, and by the way, there's one more thing I forgot. If you are a current user of our Liquidity View dashboard, or if you are considering joining us, we will have a boot camp on Thursday. I believe. Yeah, Thursday at 12 p.m. at noon Eastern, going through all the different features of the dashboard. So please, that's something we are gonna add in as well for all our existing subscribers and anybody who comes on board this week. All right, guys, with that, happy trading. See you all next week. Bye bye.